Back. This is Sports Zone, live on Joy Prime. The show is proudly sponsored by Piva Beverages, a taste you love. If you're looking for a burst of flavor in every sip, discover the refreshing taste of Piva Beverages. Enjoy the classic Piva Cola flavor, the orange flavor, the tangerine flavor, the grape and cocktail. Flavor moments in every bottle. Piva Cola, orange, cocktail, grape, and tangy. Grab yours today. My favorite is the tangerine, that Piva Tangerine. You should get it and try it. It's available now at your local store. If you want to distribute or you want it in bulk purchases to do an event, call them on 0550 032231. 0550 032231. Piva, a taste you love. The show is also proudly sponsored, of course, by Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. If you're looking for a Syntex tank, if you're doing a water project anywhere around the country and you want a water tank, make sure that water tank is a Syntex tank. It's very strong, it's durable. They come with several colors of inner layers for you. They come with a 7-year warranty. They have over 300 agents nationwide, and they'll deliver straight to your doorstep. If you want to buy a Syntex tank, call them on 0244 335168. 0244 335168. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. And Kivo Gari 4-in-1 mix is also available if you're hungry and want something quick to eat. Just grab a sachet of Kivo Gari 4-in-1 mix, okay? It has sugar in there, it has Gari in there, it has milk, and it does have crunchy groundnuts, okay? Just pour it into a bowl and add some water and you're ready to go, okay? All you need is just to add the water, like I said, and you're good to go. No stress, just tasty enjoyment. Kivo 4-in-1 Gari soakings are here. Easy. Also sponsored by Guinness. And later on the show, we'll bring you Guinness Match Day for tactical analysis on the screen. All right. Joining me on the show is Daniel Kransing and the returning teacher for Philip Achim. My friend, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Very well. Good. You were under the weather.
Yeah. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Well, good to have you back. Daniki.
Slot too.
Oh, Charlie,
And Slot is delivering.
And
Slot is delivering.
I love that guy.
All right, listen, we're not going to waste much time. Let's go straight to the Babaya, well, to the Accra Sports Stadium. That's where the Black Stars started camp ahead of that Friday game against Angola. Remember that Ghana has to play 2 AFCON qualifying matches with a very small hope of qualifying for the AFCON. The small hope only rests only exists because they have to win those 2 matches and then hope that Sudan will lose both of theirs. Certainly, that's not happening. I'm not a prophet of doom, but I know that that's definitely not going to happen. But even before the game itself, lots of drama. News came out today that the Black Stars have had to 8 players from the Black Stars have had to withdraw from the team for various reasons. In fact, 7 of them have withdrawn from the squad due to injury. And the 7 players that have withdrawn from the team, I'm just going to go through that list very, very shortly for you. Now, Antoine Semenyo has an injury. He's out. Inaki Williams has an injury. He's out. Jonas Ajete has an injury. He's out. Tariq Lamptey has an injury. He's out. Jerome Apoku has an injury. He's out. Alexander Jiku has an injury. He's out. Ibrahim Osman has an injury. He's out. Joseph Pinsel says he's not coming for personal reasons. They haven't told us what those personal reasons are, but all 8 of them are out of the Black Stars squad for those 2 matches. But they started to come today, and they had a training session. I was hoping we'd show you visuals from that training session. But Daniel, you were there. What happened? Which players trained? Who was there? What exactly happened?
So only 8 players were present, which
8
is
players.
sort of the norm when it comes to the day one. Some late arrivals, but we are sure that by tomorrow's training session, we'll have at least 22 players in camp. Kudus was there, Gideon Mensah was there, Elisha Wusu, and then Osman Bukari. Those are the 4 foreign-based players who were present. And then the 3 local lads in Razak Simpson, Emmanuel Inchi, and then Isaac Afo of Samatex. So Joseph Wolacott was also there, so 8 players. He was training alone with Fatal Dauda, and then the foreign-based players. After they did, like, I think, a warm-up session, the local boys were with the fitness crew for the rest of the session. It was the foreign guys who were on the pitch doing the training. I don't know if maybe they just wanted to assess the fitness of the local boys or something, but they didn't take part in a chunk of the training session. So it was just the 4 outfield players in Kudus, Osman, Bukari, Elisha Owusu, and then Gideon Mensah, who took part in most of the session. But it was a very slow, and obviously with 8 players,
it's very empty.
Yeah.
The pitch looks nice though.
Yeah, it's really it's looking nice. They've not touched it since the last international break.
Yeah, of course. No team has played there.
So yeah, that's
More importantly, no program has been held there.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Otuado himself is swinging his arms. Or who is
yes,
that?
on the right, you
Yes.
see the 3 local boys. So Razak, Emmanuel Entry, who's tied his hair up, and then Isaac Afu, and then Osman Bukari. And then after this was like a small warm-up. After this, the 3 local guys went to the bench with the fitness team, and then the foreign-based guys continued their training session. I'm sure tomorrow the whole team will join up in the training session. But you don't really expect, there was not much of tactical action. In fact, Otuado was playing with the ball somewhere whilst the fitness team took over the session. There's not much you can do with just 8 players present. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that by tomorrow we should have 22 players. We know he named a 25-man squad. 8 of them are out. If he's getting 22 players, it means you're having, what, about 5 replacements for the 8 that are missing. Do you have an idea? We know that Terry Yegbe has received a late call-up. Yeah. Do we know who else might be getting a call-up?
So Terry Yegbe is in, and then there's... let me just get it for you. There's Osman Bukari. There's...
Osman Bukari from the MLS.
From the MLS. Okay. So he's another late addition. So Bukari, Konigsdorfer, Forsen Amankwa, Ebenezer Annan, and Kingsley Schindler. So these are the guys who, in addition to Terry Egbe. Right. So these are the new guys.
All right. So those are the late call-ups. So we have 5 players who have received late call-ups to replace 5 of the 8 that have gone. So I think Otto has decided against bringing 8 more players in. He's brought in 5. So Ebenezer Annan, Kingsley Schindler, Osman Bukari, Forsen Amankwa, Konigsdorfer. That's what it is. That's
so it's 6.
So 6?
Yeah, there are 6 of them.
And then Terry Yegbe.
And Terry Yegbe.
Yeah, so then Terry Yegbe. So that's what it is. So 6 players have come in place of the 8 that are missing. So then, how will all of this affect the Black Stars' preparation for those 2 matches? Gideon Mensah spoke to the press after the training, and he addressed the 8 players withdrawing. This is what he said.
For me, I think, first of all, every player in the national team is very crucial to the team. And then, obviously, we have players that we are always looking up to see in the national team, and we have players that are also there to support when the other players are not there. I mean, it's a big loss for us, but also at the end of the time, at the end of the day, we still have a team to cover up. And then I'm not really scared about that. But like I said, everybody's crucial to the team, so one is not there, one is ready to play. So, yes, I mean, like I said, we are made for this. The journey is always not going to be smooth. We've come to a junction where we have to hope and then work for ourselves. So, obviously, like you said, we're going to watch the game and then see what's going to happen in the game. But at the end of the day, the focus is to win our 6 points, and then everything that's going to happen on the side, we are there for it.
Gideon, how difficult is it to get yourselves ready for this game in terms of motivation when you know that it's not in your hands?
I think the motivation is always the football that we play. I mean, we have good people here in Ghana who support us every day and then every time that we play. So obviously, like we are here for a game like this, and then mentally we are prepared for this. So I don't think we have any other thing to think about other than the game. So that's the motivation for us. Yeah, I mean, I think. This question is, I mean, even if we were performing very, very good in the national team, we're still not going to be like the performance in our club, because obviously, like, you're playing a club where you've been training for like the whole season together, and then every day, and then you come to the national team, and then you have like 3 days, 4 days to train, and you have a game, and then obviously, like you said, it's not always going to be the performance but I know that every player here in the national team is ready to fight for the country and then ready to fight for the shirt. We may not always get it how we want it to go in the game, but I promise you that we're always working to get what the results are going to.
Gideon Mensah. speaking to Danny Key and some other journalists there. So he says they're still very committed to the cause. Sichu, this is not very ideal way to prepare for games like this. But then again, they're basically dead rubber games. And if people didn't have any cause to doubt these injuries, certainly it would be in the minds of a lot of the fans. This doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. Look, for the purposes of the qualifiers to the AFCON, it doesn't look like Ghana have got the chance to. I don't think that Sudan are going to.
We're not qualifying.
I don't think. Mathematically, yes, it is. Realistically,
We are not qualifying, Sichu. Don't give people hope.
I'm not
There
giving
is
hope.
no
I'm
hope.
stating facts. The facts are that
Yes.
there's a possibility Ghana goes through, and football is a funny
Yeah,
sport.
no, that's the fact. But what would be the reality?
So we can speak.
Is he
so
a
that is exactly what
soothsayer?
I'm saying.
Huh?
I'm
Is
saying,
he a
No,
soothsayer?
I am. Because on this table,
so
the
when you start
new
chanting, then you
oracle.
start talking about. But when I'm saying that, the facts are that it's going to be very different. I mean, it doesn't look like realistically. I don't think Ghana are going to be there.
Yes.
But again, the players are going to hang on to the fact that they will do their job and hope that other results go their way. I don't think that is going to happen.
Okay.
But it doesn't help when you're going into these games and some of your very good players are not turning up for the games. But we also must understand that footballers, when they play for their clubs in this long season, they sometimes play with injuries. They manage injuries for spells. Now, during these international breaks, these are the only time that at times they can take a pause and deal with these minor injuries. So some of the injuries are not injuries that are going to keep them out for a month or two. But because they've been playing with, injections, they've been playing with painkillers, they are managing the injuries. When they have an opportunity of taking care of these little injuries, this could be the moments, right? And especially as I must say, the environment around the national team is not the best at the moment. So a lot of the players might look at themselves and say that, do I go to Ghana and play with these minor injuries, come back to the club and still manage it, or I take a pause, take a good look at myself, deal with myself, and then go again in the season or what? But for Otuado, this is going to be important. These are still games he has to win because it's a continuous cycle for every national team. He's not going to be meeting them every week. So whenever he has them around, he has to find a way of getting the team to play, to win, and find a way of getting the team to respond to the way he wants them to play. Because Ghana might go on and win the next 2 games and not make it to the AFCON. But that could be the restart of something for Otuado. That
Or
could
the
be
start
the
of a good run.
Start of a good run. So Otuado and the rest of the boys will be looking at the fixture as games that they have to win and see where it takes them in terms of the AFCON or start something new for the national team. And so it's important that they get together and get some results.
Denike, any thoughts on this whole situation, even in terms of mentality and approach?
Look, it's from a coach's point of view, it's very difficult because you're talking about more than 1/3 of the playing body absent. The playing body you initially planned with will now be absent.
How many of those are starters, by the way?
Is it, they don't necessarily be.
No, I'm just asking.
And to be frank, we don't know.
Inaki and Twansemenyo could
Inaki and Twansemenyo, even Joseph Pinza started a couple of games. So
Chiku starts all the time.
Starts all the time. He's even one of the leaders in the team. So there's a lot has been taken out of this team. And to be frank, when you look at the replacements that have come in as compared to the guys who have left, they are not on the same level. So it's a bit difficult, but look, this is football. Sometimes these things happen. We've seen Cameroon a couple of days before an AFCON. Their squad decided they will not come. They had to name a full squad, and that squad went on to win the AFCON. So you need to plan for some of these things. And to be frank, that's why you have a very long and a very big national pool where players should come in, and some can come in, some can go out. And Gideon even said it. To be frank, those who have been under consideration for a while, everybody deserves to be there. And that's according to the technical team. So if one cannot make it and you call up the other, the person who is coming in has always been in your national pool and you've been monitoring and assessing the player. So in your opinion, you feel like he's ready. So yes, it could be a problem. I don't think it should be much of an excuse. But look, again, it's not in our hands, so whatever happens.
But this is why we also need to be careful in the way we treat players who do not turn up for national duties. And the clear example, I'm not going to shy away from it, is the Thomas Partey issue. The last time he wasn't there, simply because he wasn't well. He wasn't injured, but he wasn't well, according to his camp, according to him and his camp. Now, I have a feeling that there was a massive mistrust between Ghana's national team and then Thomas. So they were asking him to fly all the way from London to Ghana for them to confirm if he was unwell. The question now is, are you going to fly all the other 8 players to come to Ghana to assess them and see if their injury records are good? And this is a personal thing. I build relationships on trust. You can break the trust, whatever, but I'll give you the benefits of the doubt. I'll give you the trust. And if your captain said that I wasn't feeling well for those 2 top games, I don't think it was necessary to go to the extent of asking him for somebody who is not well to fly all the way to Ghana and make it look as if he's not
lying.
committed to the cause, make it look as if he's lying. It was so terribly managed. And the fact that the GFA spokesperson even said that on radio for me was bad. And now you've got 8 other players who are injured. How do you then deal with these players? And Thomas Partey is fit. He's played for Arsenal. He's well. But the national team manager says he's not coming. And I have a feeling it's on the back of Partey not being well in the other time they called him up. How does he deal with these other 8 players going forward? Is he going to treat them the same way? So sometimes you take out emotions. You deal with issues as and when they come. And even if internally you don't trust him, don't let all Ghanaians think that Thomas Partey was lying.
Because I've been privy to some of the conversations that have happened, especially on the Thomas Partey issue. The mistrust, like you're saying, it does exist.
Yeah.
And it stems from the correspondence between the player and the GFA, or even from Arsenal. You know what the protocol is when there's an injury. The medical teams exchange notes.
Yeah.
So you would get a message from the players' club saying, this is the situation, these are the results, and we think that because of that, he cannot be available for this match. In the case of Thomas, like you said, it wasn't an injury.
Yeah.
So the club had cleared him to go for international duty. Yeah. But then they got an email that said that Thomas says he is unwell.
Unwell, yeah.
So when Thomas says he's unwell, the club, by couching the email like that,
taking themselves out.
Yes,
out
of the
player's not feeling well.
Exactly. The player says he's not feeling well.
Yeah.
And I think that gave the GFA the impression that if it was serious, the club would be communicating to them that the player is not well, not that he says he's not well. So it's like...
It was just poorly...
That's what I'm saying. So exactly. Even so, the whole correspondence, you know, it's what led to the situation. But you're 100% right in saying that we know a lot of things happen behind the scenes, and they shouldn't
spill over
behind the scenes, out of the public view. Because sometimes when you put the information out in the public, and people form opinions, they crucify people unnecessarily. Even now, it becomes difficult for you to even institute disciplinary measures without people thinking that you're just being unnecessarily vindictive or emotional in some of these situations. So I agree with you, 100%. What we will do now is take a short break. When we come back, we'll go straight into showing you highlights from all around Europe. And Karim has also been preparing what he believes is very important information on Ghana's players in this particular AFCON qualifier. Plus, I've got lots of messages that have come through already. I'll read some of them after this very break. Hello, I'm a Madrid fan, and I'm here to laugh at Barca fans. Interesting message. This one from Kobe Rich. All right, I've got more messages here. Good evening, friends and team. Today, I was watching the Premier League show on Super Sports. Do you know what I learned? The videos that Danny showed about 1 month ago concerning Pep's struggles this season is now that they are showing it. Danny is a senior.
I'll show you more today. I'll show you more.
Senior.
I'll show you more.
The touch screen will not work.
It's off. Ateta hiring me. Ateta. Charlie.
Oh, God. That's a message from Gaffa K. Eben, thank you for your message. This message is from Castro Steve from China. It says, good evening, friend. Chelsea finishing third, leading to the international break is not bad at all. There's hope in this young and energetic team. I wish Hearts of Oak well in their next games. Greetings to all Chelsea fans in China. All right, Castro, thank you. Chelsea, this is a message from Gideon in Lipe. Thank you. The Chelsea manager should try playing the midfield trio of Enzo, Caicedo, and Latvia. So it's not Latvia. It's Lavia.
No, it is the autocorrect.
There's no T.
The keyboard doesn't know.
So that Lavia and Caicedo can do the defensive work while Enzo can search forwards. Because anytime Enzo isn't playing, Ama seems to be dropping deep. Not only Madueke, should know that he's not better than those on the bench. So he should stop getting angry when he's subbed. With that behavior he displayed yesterday, the coach should bench him and play Nkunku ahead of him after the international break. Gideon, thank you for your message. Danike, what is your problem?
No, Madonna, can you figure say
Hey, that boy.
No, I like his aura.
Aura. What aura?
If you get that boy, everywhere he shoot.
He feel like
the whole team. So it doesn't get white.
This guy
play where he go tap.
Sam Tuga in Ejura says, please let a brilliant crew analyze the motives behind the poor performance of the Black Stars team and then GFA as a whole. Greetings to you and all your team. I think we've done a lot of work on that. Slot has inherited a squad with Salah and Van Dijk, and also a squad that was in the conversation for a league title last season. If he did anything than what he's doing now, he should already be sacked. This is Liverpool, bro. You made it sound as if he has overachieved if he wins the league. In my opinion, if he wins the league, it is even a question mark on Klopp than anyone else. Mo from Leeds.
No, this guy is... He's a Liverpool. He agrees with what I was saying last.
No, the way he ended it.
I didn't quite get it.
If he wins the league,
it's an indictment on Klopp.
It's a question mark on Klopp. Absolutely agree.
I agree with that part.
I agree with that part. But a lot of the
things
he
said, I made it sound as if he has overachieved if he wins the league. Yes, he has.
He hasn't.
Yes, he has. Arteta has been there 5 years. He hasn't
so?
won it.
Yes, but no.
He has not won it.
I'm not even using that.
Guys,
Liverpool
has standards.
It's not about standards.
Liverpool has standards.
What's the standard?
Last season's team was built to win a league title.
Yes.
They were very close to winning a league title. They
Between Liverpool and Arsenal, who was
points
closer?
away.
No,
so if this season they come in and they win, why is it that over?
No,
I have a question.
This Liverpool team has been built to try and win the league for the last 5 or 6 years, right? And they've won it only once.
No.
So
this particular Liverpool team was reconstructed last summer.
Yes.
Last summer, they were good enough to win, but maybe they just needed time. It's been 1 year. They are ready to win.
Why? I have a question. Yes.
Different ideas. And it's actually changed something major in this Liverpool team.
Different ideas, but has a group of players who share the same principles and can work with him.
So if he wins let me ask you this question. Between Arsenal and Liverpool last season, who came closest to City?
Arsenal.
It was Arsenal.
Good. So naturally, the next season, who should be more competitive?
Everybody said Arsenal were going to win the league.
So what's your point in saying that if Arsenal...
How many points were Liverpool of City?
Of City? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
It was 5 points.
How many points were Arsenal off Liverpool?
Off Liverpool?
Off Man City?
2.
So I'm saying that the one that was closest to...
that's not overachieving.
It's natural progression.
No, but it's not overachieving.
So if you don't win naturally...
No, wait. If Man City won the league and Arsenal were 2 points behind, Liverpool were 3 points behind, and Liverpool wins the league this time, it's overachieving because they were 10.
No, there is
points. Okay, so we're looking at the points difference. We're not looking at the position.
But also... the point different because every season is different. But the reason why I think that it's an overachievement is simply because when a new manager walks into the Premier League, picks up a team, makes no signing, and goes on to beat Pep Guardiola's City team that has won the league 4 years in a row. That cannot be a normal. It's not normal. It's an overachievement.
Doesn't make a signing because the team had been built and ready to win. He didn't need to make it. He didn't need to make a signing.
He just didn't find somebody.
He didn't need to.
He wanted to bring in a DM. We all
wanted to. Didn't need to.
No, he needed to.
He didn't need to.
All right, guys,
to work with what he has.
We'll get to the Liverpool conversation. Let me read more messages. More, you see why you have cost.
But he's a Liverpool fan. And he's telling you that he knows his team is ready and fit enough to win it.
This guys.
Say you could go there, but
this message is from. He said, "I'm watching from Van Boy. My village people are watching.
Get up and show them.
I want Man United.
Get up and show them.
Oh, I want Man. Hold on. I'll do 360 before we finish the show.
The sweet that you hype at the start of the show.
Yes.
He said,
I want.
Hope you like it. Hope you like it.
Oh, this. I want Man United's manager's number. I want to sack him again.
Which one?
I have it.
I get the Hagi number.
I get for you. No. I call him and go and see somewhere.
Tiso Sulemana. Tiso Sulemana is my brother.
Yeah.
He's my brother. Everybody watching from Van Boy is my brother.
Oh, yes.
The village is small.
We're all brothers.
Everybody be brother and sister. Everybody be... My greetings to everybody. My greetings to everybody at home. Sule. And he says, please, who is going to captain the Black Stars in these games?
Jordan.
Jordan, are you? Jordan, are you be the captain, Sule? Be the captain. Good evening, Fen. I'm Ruben from Tema. Ruben sends us a very long message. I will be patient enough to read it. Could it be coincidence that the set players that are injured, or per your experience as journalists, you think that they have intentionally faked the injuries? We're journalists, not medical experts. That's first point.
At least for one of them, before you continue, at least for one of them, Iñaki Williams, he missed the game this weekend.
Yes.
And Bilbao had already said he was injured. They didn't know even the extent of the injury.
Yes.
So
Ibrahim Osman also.
Ibrahim Osman as well wasn't there.
Yes.
I think Semenyo after the game also, there's a picture of him, there's a video of him limping, something.
Okay.
So it can be a coincidence. I think it is.
Okay.
Semenyo was limping.
Yeah.
He says,
After the game.
and he continues, he says, whatever be the case, I think that we should really commend Didayu and his brother for their dedication to the Black Stars over the years. They're always present no matter the situation. God bless them. Chelsea, meanwhile, are making us proud these days, forever Blues. Did you guys see what Tyrone Mings of Aston Villa did on Wednesday? How on earth does a professional player do that?
Why
He made me, and then...
Why are you shaking your head?
Sorry.
A couple of months ago,
I know,
when
we had that
Gabriel-
debate. We
had that
told
debate.
them it
And
was a
the
penalty.
referee said it was a schoolboy error. That he says you can't give a penalty for that. It's
Brother, no, I'm shaking my head because these things happen.
But,
You understand?
and the referees have to be
was the referee
consistent.
right or wrong?
The referee was wrong.
Okay. At least you are consistent. It's fine.
No, the referee was wrong.
You see, it's easy to admit that somebody was wrong. Several months later, when another situation arises and your opinion or your stance on that changes, you can go back and say the
That
other one was
game,
wrong.
it was a
It
penalty,
is happening
100%.
in our parliament.
Address me properly.
They said he was wrong then. But he's wrong now. But when he was wrong then,
Nobody had a
because
problem.
he benefited.
There was no problem.
That's the key.
They need GFA to go there.
Because the referee was wrong then, and he was against Arsenal, and he benefited his interest.
No.
He didn't have
You
issue.
answer. I said the ref in this game
And in the Villa game was also wrong. But the
Oh, he
referee
was
at the
wrong.
Arsenal game was right.
was right.
At least you've been consistent. That's all.
And Ruben says, did you guys see what Tyrone Mings of Aston Villa did on Wednesday? How on earth does a professional player do that? He made me lose 11,000 cedis. Now that's the hook. Just by touching that ball with his hand, that led to the penalty. Anyway, if you missed it, Aston Villa in the Champions League, Tyrone Mings caused a penalty because the goalkeeper passed the ball to him and he picked up the ball instead of playing it. And the referee said, penalty. Instead of just, anyway. I'll read more messages. But guys, let's do Ghana Premier League real quickly and take you to England as well to do Premier League. In the Ghana Premier League this weekend, Kumasi took on Bechem United. They lost that game by 1-0, and we'll show you the goal just about right now. It's a fantastic goal. This commentator. Look at the control. Just look at that. Panyai.
From there.
Yeah, from there. Panyai from there. No, the commentator is for there.
He's for there.
He's for there.
Oh, good.
Let me show you the full results from this weekend before we talk about what's going on with Kotoko. Hearts of Oak also won by 2-0, I believe. Yeah, so there, Hearts of Oak won by 1-0. It's a narrow victory for them. Heart of Lions also won. Dreams FC, that was their first victory of the season. They beat Mediama. I'm not sure what's going on with Mediama there. The General Stars also won 1-0 against Karela. Basake Holy Stars 2-1 winners over Accra Lions. The rest of the results just speak themselves. Thoughts on Kotoko? 3 defeats in a row now. In the last 4 matches, they've picked up 1 point.
No, not looking good. Look, we are Ghanaians. Culturally, the Kotoko problems, you're not allowed to speak about it, so it's difficult. But they've got massive problems, and the problems are not on the pitch issues. It's far from there. They can go and let the manager go, bring in another manager, work under the same structure and the same system. And the problems will still be there. And like I said, it's difficult to speak about the Kotoko issues because it's some way. But Kotoko never really win in Bechem. I'm not running a commentary in the Ghana Premier. I've seen Kotoko Bechem. In Bechem,
It's traditionally difficult.
you've got to go back some maybe 10 years, 2015, 2016, thereabout, to see to find the last time maybe Kotoko won there. It's always a difficult place for Kotoko to go. So, but what makes it bad is that it's on the back of 3 other games that they had not, won. So it extends their winless streak, and that for me is unfortunate. But this fixture was always going to be difficult for Kotoko. They always find a way, Bechem. They always find a way to stop Kotoko. They find a way to beat them.
Yeah, so they drew against Baseke Holy Stars. and then lost to Legon Cities in Accra. Then they lost at home to Heart of Lions. Bashir Hayford has no sympathy for them.
Look,
before this defeat
the
against the
issue is, it's not just the fact that they are just not scoring goals. Qatar are not creating enough chances.
Even before
which is a serious issue because
the average one goal.
Yeah, it's one
match.
thing. It's one thing if you are creating the chances and not scoring. Then maybe it's down to
3 weeks
personnel.
ago.
But they are not creating chances. They are not scoring goals.
Yeah.
So what it means is that there's an over-reliance on their defense to do a good job. And considering one goal, look, if you look at their defensive record, I don't think it's been that bad if you compare it to the teams in the Ghana Premier League. But they are just not scoring enough. And once you are not scoring, you can't win a football game.
Somewhere they're beginning to also have goalkeeping problems. Not for the quality or the ability of the goalkeepers, but some very high-level mistakes by the goalkeepers costing them. And like you said, they don't score goals, so even when they concede one, game is done.
All right, so Prosper Ogum says he will turn things around. So we'll wait to see. We're backing him to turn things around for the Pocapan Warriors. Stamford Bridge, that's where Chelsea hosted Arsenal in a London derby. At the end of a grueling 90 minutes, the spoils were shared. This is what the results from this weekend look like. Look at that surprising result at the bottom of the screen. Ipswich Town beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1 away from home. And Nottingham Forest's impressive run was halted by Newcastle, who came from a goal down to win by 3-1. Impressive result for Newcastle there. And this is what the table looks like. This one there, Benaya didn't make a mistake. Benaya, clap for yourself. Well done. Liverpool with a 5-point lead at the top of the table. Man City is just behind. Chelsea, Arsenal, Forest, and Brighton, all with 19 points. And look at how tight it is. And just below there, you have 3 other teams with 18 points. It's incredibly tight. And despite the victory, Man United remains in the bottom half of the table.
Hey, Ten Hag. Charlie.
13th on the table. But look at the bottom 3. Palace, Wolves, Southampton. That is not looking good at all, especially for Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it's not great at all. All right, so that's that. We will take a short break. When we come back, we will go straight into analysis mode. The guys have been itching to pick apart some of these games here on Sports Zone. Proudly sponsored by Syntex and Guinness, Kivo 4-in-1 Gary Mix, and Piva Beverages. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Sports Zone here on Joy Prime. The show is proudly sponsored by Syntex Tank, Kivo Gary 4-in-1 Mix, and Piva Beverages. Now, though, it's time to bring you Guinness Match Day, the analysis of all of the top stories from the English Premier League. Guys, there's a lot to go through. And I've got lots of messages here, but let's begin with first things first. What is going on with Manchester City?
Okay. So last month, I came here and I gave homework.
Yes.
You did
a whole video.
Yeah, so today I'll go to the board.
Yeah, okay.
I'm giving homework.
Yes.
If you
go and watch back.
Go and watch back. If you watched, and this is on the premise of what I said last month, there were 2 statements I made. The City's high press, you see, their high line, usually they pressed very effectively and they had control of the ball. So they kept possession most of the time. They picked the right passes. They dictated the tempo of the game. And when they lost the ball, they were so effective in their counter press. They will quickly win it back. They will not give you time to think to be able to exploit the space in behind them.
Okay.
But this time around, they are not pressing as effectively. And the high line still exists. So teams are now committing more numbers in transition. Teams, and the technically good teams, teams like Brighton, like Fulham with this season with Marco Silva, who have players to play in between the press or play around the press. That's exactly what teams are doing. I showed examples from the Newcastle game. I showed examples from the Fulham game and how teams are beginning to exploit Man City. And yes, maybe at the time, now I was very convinced, but I understand the sentiments around during that time. Oh yeah, it was a bit too early. But everything I said in that submission is what is playing out. If you watch the Sporting Lisbon game, the second goal was a prime example of what I'm talking about. Sporting Lisbon took their time and played around the Man City press. You remember the goal where they took it, they dragged City to the line, then played it through pass.
Gyökeres.
He went, exactly, Gyökeres went and he went to score. You look at the Brighton game yesterday, and not just the goals. Almost every chance Brighton created was a ball hit in behind the City line, and they were targeting Kyle Walker. I told you, when I showed you the examples of the game between Fulham and Man City, that thing where Kyle Walker had the pace to go in behind and recover, his pace is going down. And it's like teams have realized that he's not as good dealing with balls.
Thanks to Adama Traore.
Adama.
He exposed him.
Yesterday, we saw it on countless occasions where Brighton were hitting the ball in between Kyle Walker and then the Man City and the right centre-back. Yeah. Constantly hitting it in between. And what they did was, Mitoma had drawn very wide. So they caught Walker in two minds. If Walker decides to mark him one-on-one, he's leaving a huge gap in between himself and the centre-back, which will allow more bodies.
Yes.
And the Brighton manager planted Joao Pedro when he came, or in the first half. You see Welbeck occupying the space between Kyle Walker and then the centre-back. So Kyle Walker is caught on his left. There's a centre-forward who's making...
Are you coming to
exactly, and he was making a diagonal run. Their starting position was diagonal. Yeah. So you know, Kyle Walker knows he's going towards his centre-back. But if he decides to focus on his man, he'll be creating more space for the attacker to be able to isolate the centre-back one-on-one. And if you notice, the centre-back yesterday, that kid, you know, the small boy.
What's the name? The young academy graduate.
Brighton.
No, the Man City.
The small boy they played.
Exactly. Now, when you're a senior man on the pitch, it is your responsibility to take care of it.
Control, yeah.
Exactly. So, Kyle Walker is now caught in two minds. Throughout the entire game, should he follow this Brighton centre forward in Welbeck or Joao Pedro, who is making that diagonal run, going at the centre back, or he should focus on Mitoma, who is drawn really wide? And at times, Mitoma will also come in, and then Estupinian will give the width. And now there were two players in between the Man City, and they constantly were hitting the balls towards Kyle Walker and that centre back. Long ball, long ball. Thank you.
Simpson Pussy.
What's his name again?
Simpson Pussy.
Simpson Pussy.
Top guy.
Simpson
Pussy.
Yes.
Simpson Pussy is a dash.
It's a hyphenated name.
This guy.
Yes, I remember
it is only one S.
Yeah, Pussy.
And E-Y.
Orange is the new black. There was some girl we called Pussy inside, so I know the name.
Okay. You are familiar with the name.
No.
I don't want you to slip.
No, I'm not built like that. So the balls were consistently going very diagonal in between the space left by, in fact, the space between Kyle Walker and that centre back. And that's how Brighton scored their goals. In fact, there were chances, a chunk of chances they created through that. And I told you guys, look, Ederson is not the goalkeeper who is going to all of a sudden outperform himself. If Man City are creating big or conceding big chances like that, it's only a matter of time teams will start taking them.
And that's what's happening.
And you look at look, Brighton missed very good opportunities. Very good opportunities. You look at the Sporting Lisbon game. It was like 4 big chances, 4 goals.
Yes.
They are clinical. Gyökeres, he will score you. He will not. And you see, modern day football, Premier League, every team is threatening. And when teams see the templates, it is very difficult for you to now, when they see the template and they decide to go at it, teams learn really quick. And that's what we are seeing. Now, the reason why I also don't think that Man City can turn it around quickly. Look, every season this thing happens where City, they are not as bad in the first half, though, but we always know that in the second half, Pep will do something and he always has the personnel, he always has the tools to be able to turn it around. But this time around, it's not about tactics. It's about the principles not working. I hope you guys get the difference. It's not about him playing 4-2-3-1 or what. It's about the principle of City not keeping the ball well enough. And that engine who does it for him is Rodri, and Rodri is not around.
Kovacic, for a long time he'll be out.
Yes, Kovacic can never do that job as well as Rodri. It's not going to happen like that. Sadly for him also, I don't know what is going on with John Stones and his injury issues. But John Stones is not the sort of player who, the way the injury issues are, and even if he plays in midfield, he thrived because he was playing alongside Rodri. That is difficult. Again, the press is not as effective. And maybe if they can fix that, it may reduce the chances that they are conceding. But when you look at the number of bodies that teams are committing and how technically gifted most of these opposition teams are, or the teams in the Premier League are, and how smart the managers are, I don't think Man City can recover just like that. Look, they'll obviously get better.
So that's why you think they will not win?
Yeah, they'll get better, but...
Yeah. And teams are taking advantage of the big space that exists
between
inside Simpson Pussy. That's the problem. The space is too big.
Are you serious? Hey. Of all the things I said, is this one that the big space between Simpson Pussy and...
Yes. Is that... when he wants to close, it's not close.
Hey, take your chair. Okay, it's 10 p.m. after hours.
Switch off.
Kids are watching.
Let's not...
Kids like the show.
Wait. Are you arguing that the Simpson Pussy space is not...
It's not
wide.
It's not a matter of his space. It's a matter of the
He
team's,
said the space
the
between...
team's space.
The space between him and our Walker is the problem.
When I was talking, I didn't even mention the boy's name.
Oh, bro.
I said Walker and then the young guy.
I went to find his name.
Find the guy's name.
Sicho, I don't want us to dwell on Man City anymore.
I mean, no, Nanias.
Yeah. Let's talk about Manchester United before we go to Chelsea, Arsenal. I want you to talk to me about what answers Amorim would have found from that run that Ruud van Nistelrooy had, or what more questions he would have had coming into this game from that particular round. Because certainly that round would mean that he would come and meet a team in high spirit. But certainly there would still be some questions and some answers around that team that he'd be looking. What do you think would be his first point of call in that United team once he took charge today?
No, I mean, he would have worked the team under Ruud van Nistelrooy, and at times maybe under Tahangen would have known that at least he has something to work with. But under Ruud van Nistelrooy, we saw a team that could respond quickly to trying to press. It wasn't perfect, but the attitude was there. Its application, at times was lacking, but they still did it. They looked a better structured team, which means that the team can play under some instruction. They've got some good enough players to do it. Their midfield was a lot better. Ruben Amorim coming in, look, it's an unknown territory because Man United have seen so many managers come in with reputation and haven't necessarily been able to get it going. Now, if we are assuming that the team that we saw in Sporting, or what we saw him do in Sporting is what is going to translate to his Man United team, then we expect him to play with the back three, I should say.
Yeah.
When it comes to defenders to play the back three, I think he's got good enough defenders to do that at Man United, being Martinez, Delete. At times, Mazraoui can feel it. We've seen even Luke Shaw shown, even with England, he can do that. Harry Maguire is a very comfortable defender in that if the line is not unnecessarily high. So he's got something. Lenny Euro is returning. He's young, he's quick. He's good with the ball. So he's got that. I think with full backs as well, or wing backs as well, Dalot for me he looks more like a wing back than like a full back. Yeah. Mazraoui can do a job. Shaw himself can do a job if he's fit. So he's got that. Now what he has to figure out is
Malacia.
I don't trust him. What he's got to figure out what he's got to figure out is what his best midfield combination will be. Because we've seen that in the 4-2-3-1, certainly Casemiro and Ugarte have looked like, okay, they can sit and do proper defending. But what Ruben Amorim requires of his midfielders is to be very good and comfortable on the ball and be able to pick passes from very deep because he trusts his forward players to make darting runs through the lines, in behind the lines and things. So he's got to figure out. But I think his biggest headache would be what he does with the untouchables, if you like, or the big players in Man United. Players like
the egos and all.
Not necessarily the egos, but where they are best.
Untouchable? Maybe because they have a certain
Bruno Fernandes
impression
is the captain of Man United. Some you have to find a place for him. He's on a big wage. He's the captain. He has to manage him. Do I think that he automatically fits into what Ruben Amorim's sporting team was doing? I don't think so. Marcus Rashford is a big end at Man United. You know Man United and the fans, homegrown, blah, 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 and all of that. What does it do with Marcus Rashford? What does it do with Amad Diallo and Garnacho, these young players? Because it's in those front three positions that will be interested in how.
Anthony's
I think the club is okay that Anthony won't work, so they're okay to move him on. But there are some players that the club will still be looking at, like I said, Bruno Fernandes, like Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, maybe Højlund. Can he improve? Gyökeres wasn't what he was before Sporting.
Right.
And Ruben Amorim is tending to be something else. Can he do that to players like Rasmus Højlund, who's a big investment for the club, Joshua Zirkzee?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but
Because Gyökeres was, at least he knew how to score goals. He was scoring goals in the
You're saying
Champions.
Rashford doesn't know how to score.
Not Rashford, Holland.
So that is what the questions will be about Ruben Amorim. What he's able to do with these players. Is he going to stick with exactly what he was doing at Sporting, or we've got another side of him that the Premier League will teach us more about? We'll see, but we wish him all the best.
I think one of the things that I'm most excited for him is that he is coming to Man United to meet a team that, like I said, first of all, is in good spirit, but also more importantly, the fixtures that lie ahead
Sweet aroma.
look relatively easy to negotiate. So he literally can build on what Van Nistelrooy has done and put together another run that extends to maybe like 3-4 more
That brings
matches.
confidence, brings
yeah,
form.
because when they come back from the international break, they're going away to Ipswich. That's manageable. And then they play in Europe. They play against Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
That is a game they'll win at Old Trafford. Then after that, they host a struggling Everton. So that's another game they can win at Old Trafford. And then before they play a tough game away at Arsenal. So even before that, they could have done 3 wins in a row leading to that game at the Emirates. And, you know, winning, what do I always say? It's habitual.
Yeah.
You know, you get used to it. You can go on a run, an incredible run. Arsenal versus... No, we're not going back to that argument, please. People want to listen to Arsenal.
Let's talk about us. Let's talk about Klopp. Slots.
Charlie, this is the only time.
Sicho, he wants to... Don't mind. We are
No,
not
you are
here to have
intentionally
arguments.
letting Sito run away.
Sicho,
Do you want to talk about the weekend games?
don't mind him.
No, but he's made a comment
Sicho,
that will.
I was joking. I was joking.
The pass,
Hey!
I was joking.
You were joking.
I was joking.
Okay.
the comment will pass on by show.
Okay. Me too. I will
Listen,
joke.
the two teams, in my opinion, the two teams were not at their very best. It was still a very exciting game of football. In the end, what did we learn from it? I got a message from someone that says that Chelsea don't look like a team that is in a rebuilding phase. They look very settled. And Arteta said after the match that this is one of the best teams in Europe. Was he exaggerating, or Chelsea are really that good?
It's a difficult one because I personally think it's in between. They are not a finished article yet.
Yes.
And it shows spells where they are very good. And there are spells where they are looking like not quite. So overall, Chelsea are in between very good and not so good. And it looks like a team that is, as you use in the modern term, cooking. But credit to Enzo Maresca because he's very much set the ball rolling. And Chelsea at the moment are in the top 4, you know, even though we know the points are very close, but they've done well to put themselves there. Yeah. And they have the youngest team in the Premier League when you think about it. And it's coming in lots of players, he has to manage them. So he's doing a great job by the squad that he's got. But in the game, look, I think, and I've always said that Mikel Arteta's problem, or Arsenal's problem, or Mikel Arteta's problem, I should say, is that when he's had to change something, be it personnel or a tactic, it doesn't click. I've never really seen Mikel Arteta's Arsenal change shape, tactic drastically and get things going. And in the last couple of games where he's not had the wins, like the greatest result, by injury or by lack of certain personnel.
Or by design.
Or, not necessarily by design, but by no fault of his, by accident. He's had to remodel the team and play the team in a different way. And he hasn't necessarily got the team playing well. We saw Thomas Partey revert to play right back. It wasn't the best.
Played 2 matches in a row.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. We've seen him try to change the midfield a little bit, get Mourinho going. Mourinho has not really settled. He's not cracked it yet. We've seen him trying to, at times, change the front line, Trossard somewhere. It doesn't work. But in this game, he virtually played, I think, on paper, or the team that are available, or in style, the very Arteta Arsenal we know, with Martin Odegaard back. Played very closely to Saka. Ben White played in his favorite position so they could form that triangle. Thomas Partey was in central position so he could affect the Arsenal game. Martinelli could occupy the width, and that is very much Arsenal. But I've always said that Arsenal won't win big things if they've got to rely on Kai Havertz for crucial goals week in, week out. He's a good player. He offers a lot to them in the way they play. But if you want to win, Arsenal do not have that X factor. And for Chelsea as well, Enzo Maresca's team creates very good scenarios. But at times, the personnel who get on the end of it is the problem, because I saw Gusto being the extra man in midfield, got onto the ball a lot of times, got himself into very good positions, but it's just...
It's not influencing...
He just doesn't have it in the final third to decide things. And I think for Cole Palmer...
He ends up in good areas.
Very good areas, because he's the extra midfielder he provides with that midfield box, because he bypasses the base midfield in Caicedo and Lavia, sits alongside Palmer. So the midfield box is Gusto, Palmer, Lavia, and Caicedo.
Yeah.
And because Palmer is dangerous, midfielders tend to glide towards him.
Exactly.
Gusto is the free man, but when he picks up the ball...
Concentrated on Palmer.
Yeah, when he picks up the ball, he and Madueke on that side are not necessarily getting it going. And I think that this season, as good as Palmer is, in big games, he's not necessarily influenced.
He has struggled.
We saw against Liverpool, we saw him against Man City. I mean, I understand he hasn't necessarily trained well this week coming into the game against Arsenal. Yeah. But if Chelsea are to click in some of these games, Palmer needs to start playing a lot better than he showed us over the weekend.
Because in reality, Chelsea may be good and they may be third, but so far they've played 4 matches against the top 4. They've lost 2. Yeah,
and those are good games as well. But finally, to wrap it up, and the 2 goals that we saw, I think for Arsenal's goal, it's why Odegaard is important. He's the only player in the Arsenal team that sees the space and scoops the ball like he did. Yeah. And that is why they missed them. But again, when you look at Chelsea defensively, Madueke shouldn't have been lazy in behind. He should have been tracking back, because you could see Martinelli free, should have been going there. Yeah. And I think I'll be very disappointed in the goal that Arsenal conceded. A team that prides itself in defending very well. There were a couple of things that they should have done right. I think one, Martinelli should have followed Neto when he was making the run into the space. He didn't. And then, some way, somehow, Arsenal's DM, either in Merino or Thomas Partey, were not in position. In the space where Neto played it or took the shot, it should never have happened. It should have been either Partey or Mikel Merino sitting on the D to prevent Neto from taking the shot. So the two teams look at the goals they considered and they'll be disappointed that individuals or the system didn't care, but because those were avoidable goals.
You've been, right from the very beginning when I mentioned this game, you've been complaining about Noni Madueke, and not just you. There's some Chelsea fans who don't understand what's going on, and even Enzo Maresca's own infatuation with it. And I say infatuation because he's not necessarily been top in maybe the last couple of matches, and yet he sticks with him, and he makes the same mistakes, and then he gets substituted, and he doesn't seem happy.
I think he's like Maresca's personal project, similar to what we saw him do with Fatal. Because last season, at the beginning, when Fatal started getting the minutes, there was a lot of frustration from the Leicester City fan, yet he stuck with him. And as the season progressed, we began to see the improvement. Yeah. It was a bit inconsistent, but it was largely positive. I think that's what he's trying to do with Noni Madueke. But my issue with it is, the job he's asking Noni Madueke to do, the guy who is being asked to play on the wrong side or the other side, I think is a massive upgrade on what Madueke is doing.
Pedro Neto, you mean?
Asking him to hold the line with, when he picks up the ball, he has room to directly take on the fullback. And you see, the thing with Pedro Neto is, defenders don't know where he's going to go.
No.
He can go on the right side, hand side, and deliver a sensational cross like what we saw him give to Gusto on his right foot. He can go on his left. He can take a shot. His delivery is brilliant. So it's not like there's no other option but Madueke. There's somebody who is playing, who I think will be massively better than what Madueke is doing and be more consistent, be more of a threat. Look, it's not easy for, especially in modern day football, for a player to be playing on his right side. When I say his right side, his favorite side. So a left-footed winger playing on the left-hand side, dribbling and coming in. It's very difficult because most of the time, defenders know you are very predictable. You always go on the outside and
on the bar line,
exactly. But Neto possesses, he's ambidextrous, and you don't know where he's going to go. He's quick, he has skills, and the delivery is mostly on point. Very hard, it's very difficult to find players.
I mean, the final thing, he decides a lot better than Noni Madueke.
So I don't know why Maresca is insisting on Noni Madueke, because to be frank, if you look at the number of touches he had in the first half alone, the number of touches he had, and what Gusto was doing to take defenders away from him, isolating him one-on-one with Timber, and yet he wasn't able to. He didn't give Timber a lot to do in the game. And for me, look, it got to a point, Timber was tucking in to help defend against Gusto and was very comfortable leaving Madueke to pick it up.
Yeah.
Now, when Madueke picks it, before now he puts his focus on him. And for me, when the defender starts treating you that way, then he's just confirming to everybody that but to be frank, Chelsea need to do something about it because you see the potential is there. Sometimes when you are watching and you remove,
no, you can see the quality there. The quality there. Chelsea look very good, indeed. But again, like Sicho said, I think they're not at the next level yet, and they will take just like Arsenal. Maybe they need a striker, maybe a 20-goal striker, something.
As for Arsenal, the matter is simple. If you're a coach and in your third year, your project doesn't start
5
winning.
years, please.
No, in your third year, your project doesn't start winning. Forget it. Because you are picking in your third into your fourth year and you are almost rebuilding in the fifth year going. So this Arsenal team is somewhat new. Like when you look at his bench, it's changed.
Hey, Arteta.
So in some way.
If Arteta doesn't win at the end of this season, there's a problem. Big problem.
Problem. Serious
Big problem. Anyway, so guys, that's our show. Thank you, Sisho.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back again. Thank you, Daniel.
Big shouts to Arne Slot.
Slotto. Thank you all. The show is planned.
Nice suit.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope
very
you
much.
like it.
Big shouts to our sponsors, Kivo, Guinness, Syntex Tank, Piva Beverages. We are very grateful for always supporting the show. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. The show will be available on YouTube from tomorrow. And it shows back again. It plays back on Joy Prime at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. We're back again next Monday. Until then, thanks a lot for your messages and thanks for watching. We'll be right back.